Woo! Hello, gorgeous souls. Hello, screenwriters. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this welcome call for the Sell Your Script Challenge. I am so excited to get this party started with you, to get this experience started with you. I have an incredible week of a journey to take you on. So I can't wait to get started, and I'm so thrilled that you have chosen to be part of this experience. I see that a couple of you are coming on live now. I just want to give you a moment for people to join us, and we will dive into all the things that we want to talk about today. And today, really, I just want to do this. Ro, hello, I'm so happy to see you. I don't know if anyone else is here. Say hi. Just pop in the comments and say hi. Let me know that you're here. If you're somebody that I know already, then I would love to welcome you back. And if this is your first time doing something with me, I'd love to hear about that too. So please jump in the comments and say hi. So my loves, the Sell Your Script Challenge. How does it make you feel? I bet that quite a few, good morning, Lee. Good morning. I bet that for quite a few of you, you're like a little skeptical and a little cynical. Who feels this? And it's okay if you say, this is me. If right now you're kind of like, yeah, right, I'm probably not going to sell my script. And actually, this is like a free thing on the internet. Like, this is not really probably going to sell my script. Does anybody feel this? Does anybody feel like, well, I'm going to do it because it's free, but it probably won't work? Hello, Babette. Welcome. Chicago, hello. Oh my gosh, amazing. Amazing. The whole world's been watching, Jeanette. So let's talk about this, that we might be feeling a little bit cynical or a little bit skeptical right now. You might have even seen the name of the challenge and be like, well, I'm not going to sell a script in 5 days. And reality check, you probably won't. But let's just dispel some of that doubt and some of that skepticism. I'm going to be showing up here for the next 5 days as if you each paid me $1,000 or even $10,000 to do this challenge. That's how I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up with information, ideas, tools, techniques, tips, all the things that could literally get your script sold if you show up with that same level of intensity, of intention, and culpability for yourself. So right from the start, I want to set the stage with this. This challenge could literally get your script sold. But the only way it will do that is if right now you decide that that's a possibility. If you decide that that's the way you're going to show up to this. Not like, oh, this is just some random free challenge. She's probably going to be selling some stuff. So, I don't know. It's probably going to be a waste of time. It probably won't move the needle. I've been trying to sell a script for 2 years. What am I going to learn in 1 week that's going to make any difference? I want you to just kick all of that to the side right at the beginning, right now, and just decide, I'm just going to show up to this as if I paid $10,000 to do this. And I'm going to show up to this like this is the thing that's going to freaking change my life. Because if you show up like that, it really could. So I just want to say that from the start. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. So I just want to get that energy in there. But a little bit of housekeeping. Some of you are familiar with these Facebook Lives. And I just want to give you some tips about how we're going to be doing this week. Number one, you've seen, when the live happens, I just come on live. It will be in the thread of the Shoot from the Heart Society. And then we will post it into the event and into the guide afterwards. So if you're looking for them, you can find them in the guides. Our intention is also to upload them to YouTube so that you can view them with captions. And we will be sharing those links with you as well. So there's multiple ways you can watch the replays afterwards. Just be patient. You will get the replays. Okay, so that's that. If you are showing up to the lives, then what I would suggest is that ideally watch it either on your phone on the Facebook app or on the iPad Facebook app. For some reason, these are much better for actually experiencing lives. Often, if you watch it on a laptop or desktop computer, in your browser, it sometimes delays, it sometimes glitches, all that kind of stuff. So if you can, watch it on an app. But if you are watching it on your laptop and it is glitching, what I recommend generally is just reset the page. What's that word for revising the page? Just keep reloading it. Reload the page. You know what I'm talking about. And you will keep getting back in. Now, occasionally Facebook Lives, they just drop out. That's life, okay? So if somehow I suddenly freeze and it just keeps doing the same little bit and then freezing again, then, Ro said refresh. Yes, not reload, refresh. Thank you, Ro. So if I do freeze and it's like, this is dead, just stick around in the group and I'll come back. Sometimes it takes me a moment before I know that I have frozen because from my end, it looks normal. But if that has happened, I will come back. So just be a little patient and I will come back into the group. There was one other thing that I was thinking of saying around that issue, but it slipped my mind. So that's good. So we've got that. We know how to do this. As I say, we will be sending out the replays, so you will get the replays. Now then, going back to my original thing though, honestly, show up to these. Let's talk about now, right now, to set the stage for this, what it takes to sell your script. And before we do that, I just want to ask you if you're here with me live, and I'm so proud of you for being here with me live because you're going to sell your script. And if you're watching the replay, you're going to sell it too. But being live is the energy. So I want to ask you right now, how many scripts do you have that you want to sell? And maybe also, if you want to be vulnerable, how long have you been trying to sell them? Okay? Because for many of us, this might not be like something that we feel fresh about. For many of us, this might have been doing something that we've been trying to do for a few years, or maybe even longer. And the problem with that, Tanya's got 8 scripts she wants to sell. Tanya, it's time. This is your time. So the problem that arises for many of us is that as the time goes on with our scripts, we build up more resistance to the idea that it's possible. Catherine, 6 years. Okay, 6 scripts and trying to sell them for years. 3 scripts, 2 features and 1 short, finished approximately a year. So you're still relatively new to it, Lee. I have 2 currently. I haven't tried to sell at all. Amazing. Layla, 12 years. Okay. So what I want to offer to you right now is that if you've been doing this for a while, you might have more resistance to the idea that it's possible to do it all. You might have that sort of like heaviness. Because what often happens for us is we start out on this journey like, yeah, I'm going to sell my script, right? I've written a script and I'm going to sell my script and it's going to be freaking awesome. And I'm so excited. My script is great, right? And then we start doing the do. And it's like, I just got rejected here. That didn't work. Oh, that one thing that I really thought was going to be the thing didn't pan out. And we start to get more and more proof that it's not going to work and that it's not easy. And it starts to weigh us down. So as we're moving forward now, our sort of initial like, it's going to be so great, it's going to be awesome, I'm going to sell my scripts and I'm going to be an amazing screenwriter and I'm going to win all the awards and make lots of money, it has turned into like, this is hard. This is hard. And we're like, I don't know if I can do it. And maybe I should quit. Maybe I should give up. But I keep trying because I put so much work into the scripts. Maybe I'll write another script. Maybe that's what I need to do. So I write another script. But I just want to let you know today, whatever has been the past up until this moment that brings you here into this session right now is the past. It's the past. And it doesn't in any way indicate what is possible for you in the future. It's like that thing with rolling dice, and I'm sure you've heard this. If you roll a dice, it's like, what are the odds of you rolling a 6? Well, it's 1 in 6. Well, say I've rolled 55s in a row. Does that mean that my 6 is more likely? Nope, it's 1 in 6. And I want to offer to you right now that no matter what your past experience has been until this moment, your job is to clear that energy and to be like, from this moment forward, I believe it's possible again. And whatever disappointments I've had, I'm just ignoring them. I'm letting it go. I'm transforming it. I'm letting it go. And I'm moving forward with the faith that I can sell these because I can. Okay, so that's the energy that we're moving into. Now, selling a script, let's be honest, is not an easy thing to do. And I just want to put that out there because you'll hear me being very positive at different parts of this journey. And I'll always be positive. Because I also know it's possible to do. But is it likely? Statistically, it's not. Statistically, most screenwriters do not sell their screenplays. And I don't say that to like weigh you down and make you go, oh shit, see, it is impossible. There she is telling us like, put the past aside, forget about what we've had right up until now. Now she's telling me it's hard. And that it's likely impossible. That most people don't sell their scripts. Most people don't. It's just facts. So what we need to focus on is what is the difference for those that do? What is the difference? What is it that some people have or some people are doing or some people are being that is creating that result that most people don't get. And I think herein is a huge clue to us, because I feel like a lot of people come to selling screenplays from a place of, I've written this one screenplay, now let's sell it and let's go. And that's great and it's fun. That's what I did, by the way. So I'm not poo-pooing that. And there can be great energy and that can be absolutely something that carry through. But I also want to offer to you, this can be a long journey, and that we have to play the long game, and that we have to be strategic, and that we have to think out of the box, and we have to be willing to do what most people are not willing to do. Now, by that, I do not mean anything unethical or out of integrity, by the way. But imagine for a moment that you decided today that you want to be a professional tennis player. There is no world in which you would think, all I need to do is go to my local tennis court and play a few games, and now I can turn pro and expect to win. That would be ridiculous. I mean, that would just be absolutely delusional and absurd. I think we would all agree. You're not going to turn professional because you play a few games at your local court. You would know that in order to become a professional tennis player, you're going to have to go all in. Like, it's a huge goal, right? Most people do not become professional level tennis players, even people who love tennis. So what makes the difference? What did those people do that allows them to become professional? And I'm not even talking about becoming like the world champion. I'm just talking about actually even being in the league of professional tennis players. They know that they have to commit, right? Like you would know, you'd be like, okay, I have to commit. I have to be all in. I have to show up like most people aren't willing to show up. I have to train. I have to be willing to like modify my diet, get up at different times so that I can actually like work out and then actually get on the court and play as many games as I can and learn and watch tennis games. And I have to be probably a little bit obsessive. Now, I want you for a moment to think about your level of commitment to selling your screenplay. Because I feel like many of us want those first class, like 1% results without putting in 100% effort. This is a little bit of tough talk right at the start. But I hope this is landing for you. And it's not like, oh, this means I can't do it. This means that I'm not going to make it. But actually, this is your call to rise up your standards, step up your game, and really raise the bar on yourself in every single way possible so that you do sell your screenplay. Because I am not here to tell you that you get to play a small game and you sell your screenplay. I am not here to tell you that you can have a half-assed screenplay and have a half-assed approach to selling it and you're going to sell your screenplay, because it's not going to work. If you want to be part of that small percentage of people who do actually sell their screenplay, you're going to have to step up your game. And you're going to have to do the things that most people don't do. And you're going to have to be all in. And I love it. I've already got one person saying, I'm all in, I'm committed. But if you're here with me live right now, are you hearing this? Is it landing for you? And be honest, are you willing to commit? You're here today. There's 14 people. We've got over 200 people signed up for this challenge. I just want to say there's probably about 100 of them that will not even watch a single thing. Right? There's probably 100 people who signed up for this who are like, I want to sell my screenplay, and they won't watch a single session. And then there's probably some who are like, oh, they'll watch maybe one, later in the week. They haven't bothered coming to this. They're like, oh, we'll catch it up later in the week. And I'm loving it. I'm seeing it. Yes, I am committed. Exactly. And that's it. And there's people, though, who will come to the beginning, but middle of the week, they'll stop coming. And then there's the 1%. There's the 1% who are like, I am going to show up with my integrity, with my full intention. And not only am I going to listen to the sessions, and not only am I going to make sure that I schedule them in and just really like pay attention to what is being shared with me. And more than that, I'm actually going to follow through. I'm going to implement what I'm instructed to do. I'm going to do the do. I'm not just going to be there consuming. I'm going to actually do the things. I'm going to take actions. I'm going to take risks. Because here's the thing. In order for you to sell your screenplay, there's a few things that need to be in place. First of all, the foundation of everything is your energy, your state, your vibration. And I want to start with that because I think it really is Just something that we don't talk about enough. And something that we just sort of like, I don't know, shunt to the side. But here's what I'm going to suggest. That for this next week, not only do you show up to this, but you also commit. You're going to be like, what? This is crazy. I just want to sell my screenplay. But you're also going to commit to moving your body for just a minimum of 15 minutes every day. That's not that much. And maybe you already do that and that's great. But I just want you to like put on some music and dance to it for 15 minutes. Or do some yoga for 15 minutes. Or go for a walk for 15 minutes. But every single day for the next week, just do something to move your body, shift your energy, get things going. And honestly, if you could commit to that for the long run, it's going to make all the difference. Because you being in a state where you feel energized and you feel like uplifted and you feel excited and you feel like, you know, like just good, it makes all the difference. And moving your body is one of the keys to that. I'm also going to suggest, and this is also going to be like, what is she talking about? I already did that. Okay, awesome. That's awesome. Some of you will be like, I already got this. And that's great. But I'm just bringing this in because I just wanted to be clear. Like, these are foundational practices. Another thing that I really want you to do is just be aware of what you are consuming. So again, this is not about strict rules. This is not about denying yourself things or anything like that. This is just like really be aware. Are you nourishing your body in the way that it deserves to be nourished so that you are in your peak state? Because going back to this idea of who do I need to be to sell my screenplay? Like, where do I need to raise the standards for myself? Because I absolutely am clear that the more you are in your power, the more that you are radiant, feeling great, feeling excited, feeling like I got the magic here, the more easy it's going to be for you to sell your screenplay. And the more that you're in a place of sort of like, oh, I just feel so tired, don't know what's wrong with me, oh, I'm just like, oh, you know, and you're just like, okay, I better go do the things, better go do the homework today, but I'm just feeling a bit, ugh. That's not the energy. And so this is, it sounds crazy because we're like, okay, we're talking about selling our screenplay, but now we're talking about what I eat and what I drink, and we're talking about doing some exercise. I'm telling you, this is absolutely key, and it will make the hugest difference to how this lands. So just do it, even for just this week, okay? Now, the other thing that I recommend is during this week, you get a journal. Maybe you continue the journal you normally have. Maybe you start a new one. But you spend just a minimum amount of time, like, you know, like write 2 pages every morning. Again, it doesn't need to be a long time. But open your journal every day for this challenge and write. And write about your dreams. Write about your fears. Write about your challenges. Write about what you really want. Write about, like, if everything went really well, where would you be a year from now? Write about whatever you want connected with your dreams as a screenwriter, but just get it down on the page every day for the next week. Now, I see these things as just foundational practices, and I would hope that you will actually continue with them after we finish the challenge. But I want you to integrate these as, like, just as your foundation for the work that we do this week. So that I know you're showing up to these sessions well hydrated, having had some good food, having moved your body, feeling good, feeling energetically like great, and then also having just like being reflective, like just working the things through. Because some things you're going to hear this week might trigger you. Some things you hear this week might scare you. Some things you hear this week might make you like freak out. Some things might make you really excited. Every day is going to be a different day. Every day is going to be different tasks, different ideas, different pieces to the puzzle. But I want you just to show up with that energy because that's the energy that we make the magic. I love it, Lee. And I'm just going to check through the comments. I want to succeed and want to do my best to realize that even sometimes it's hard. Yes. And that's it. You know, as long as we're just like, I'm committed, I'm going to get me a plan. Exactly. That's what we're going to be doing. Yes, I'll deal with my discomfort. I love it. I'm committed. I'm so excited, you guys. Great reminder of how important process is. Yes. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, that we are coming to these sessions with great energy, feeling good, feeling vibrant, because honestly, that's the energy that will get you to sell your script. Now, I believe in order to sell a script, there's basically 3 phases to make that happen. And I call those phases, phase 1 is what I call screenplay mastery. So screenplay mastery means we make sure our work is at the level it needs to be in order to sell it. It's quite simple. That can be tricky because we might think it's at the level it needs to be in order to sell it, but maybe it's a bit of a blind spot. Now, in this challenge this week, we are not going to be really covering screenplay mastery. I'm going to kind of assume that your screenplay is at that level. You're going to have to use your own discernment right now to decide if it is. And this is really for you, and this is something that's so important for us. It's so important as artists that we have this discernment and that we cultivate it. And this discernment comes from you. It doesn't come from anybody else. Something I know to be true about this journey of selling screenplays is that your decision and your deciding that your script is ready is the key to selling it. If you are still in a place where you're not sure and you're looking for that validation, it's going to be very hard. There's something in you that needs to be unwavering about your belief in your work. And that doesn't mean arrogance, and it doesn't mean you're like deluding yourself. I always think of, do you remember that movie, The King of Comedy, with Robert De Niro? I love that movie. I think that's one of Scorsese's most underrated films, by the way. I think that movie's pure genius. So in it, Rupert Pupkin, which is played by Robert De Niro, he is this completely delusional guy who thinks he's going to be a big star and he's going to be this big comedian, and he's terrible. So we don't want to be like that, right? We don't want to be like, my work is amazing, and it's like really not the standard. But there's things that you can do to bring it up to the standard. Hi, Christina, welcome. So I want you to make sure that your work is at that standard. And that's going to be something that I'm just sort of assuming for this challenge. We're not going to be diving into that at all this week. If you feel it is something that you want to work on, there is I have created courses that really will help you revise your script, that really will help you raise your game as a screenwriter. And if you know that's an area that you need work on, I will share the link in our group later, and you can get those courses for a fraction of the normal price and work on that. But you've got to use your own discernment for this. You've got to be aware, am I still second guessing myself here? Am I still not sure if my work is good enough? If that's where it is, I need to do a little bit more work here and bring it up to a level where I get to the point where I'm like, I know this is good. I know it's good. I know this deserves to be made. And I'm going to assume for the purposes of this challenge that you are at that stage, that you know your work is good, that you know you are worthy of selling a script, that you know your script would make a great movie. Okay? So who here, just out of interest, and I know Megan, for instance, that you're not finished your script. So the challenge is going to be a little weird for you because you won't actually be doing lots of the do once we get into it. But I just want to ask you, if you're here with me live, do you feel like you're already there? Like phase one, you've mastered it. You feel great about your script. And to be honest, we're obviously always improving. It's not like you think it's perfect, but you feel really rock solid in it. If that's you, just say yes in the chat. If you know that you need to work, you can say, I know I need work, or not yet. So let me just take a little poll while I have a drink. Okay, Lee's like 100, Catherine's like 100. Okay, fantastic. Yes, Tanya's yes. Tanya, I'm so happy to see you. Trisha, yes. Great that you're here too, Trisha. Ro, I know I need work. Okay, that's cool. I think, Ro, you probably need less work than you believe. I'm going to be honest. I've read some of your pages before. So I'm going to be honest. I haven't read a whole script, but I've read some. And you're a good writer. Abby, yes, yes. Stephanie, I'm actually taking this class with my old short stories in mind. Okay, cool. I couldn't agree with you more. I feel I have to rewrite one of my first film features because the last rewrite was in 2014 and I've evolved as an artist. Yes, yes. And I feel like also, that thing, like the world change, you change, the world changes. I would definitely encourage you to rewrite it. On the other hand, my TV series feels like it's really enough. You feel it deep down. Exactly. What about a feature film you want to sell and you want someone else to rewrite? So, just a word on that. I don't think you can go into the game of selling your first screenplay thinking, okay, I just this isn't quite there, but I want to sell it and someone else can rewrite it. I think you really have to go into it believing that it's good enough as it is. Like most producers are not looking for something that's like, I'm looking for something that I can buy that I can then hire somebody to rewrite it. Most producers would prefer to find a writer who has written something that they will then work with and work on, So, I would definitely still work on it to the point at which it's that you feel it's good enough. It's always going to be a struggle to sell a script that you don't believe is really good enough. If you're like, it really needs some work, someone else needs to rewrite it, it's going to be really hard to sell it. So I would recommend rewriting yourself to the point that you feel like this is actually really solid. That's going to be key. Okay, Sharon said, I'm not finished and I'm in progress and I'm encouraged to see this through. Okay, good. That's okay. Writing is about rewriting. It really is. It really, really is. And no one understands it until they're doing it. And you're like, oh my God, it really is about rewriting. Right? So, and we have to be willing to do that work. It takes what it takes. You know, and again, that goes into that thing about wanting that result, like that high level result, but only putting in like a low level effort. The low level effort is not going to get us the results. That was funny. I just had a funny little message pop up. So low level effort is not going to get us that high level result. If we want to be high level, and selling a script is high level, that's you becoming a professional screenwriter. So we can't be sort of like playing in the small leagues and expecting to sell the script. We've got to like step up and do the work, whatever that takes. And really, to me, that's one of the differences. We talked about that thing. What's the difference between the people that do sell it and most people who don't? Is that willingness to do the work. It's the willingness to rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and keep going and keep going and keep going until we know it's undeniably good. So at least half of you said, I'm in the position, I've completed phase one. Phase one, locked and loaded, I got a great script, right? And now all I need is the next phases. So phase two for me is what I call pitchcraft mastery. And I call it pitchcraft because I think of it as a little bit like witchcraft. But pitchcraft is how you sell yourself and your work. And this is absolutely a key skill to master in order to sell yourself, in order to sell your work. Many of us are very afraid of this. Many of us are like, oh, I can't talk about my work. I'm a writer. I just want to hide in my little like office and write my stuff. And I don't want to talk, right? And I don't want to have to like actually like sell it. Can I get someone else to do that? Yeah, this is what scares me. Yeah. But here is the thing. Again, going back to our question, what does it take? What does it take to sell the work? It means that we have to be the person who's willing to do what most people aren't. A lot of people are not willing to learn how to sell their script. They're just like, okay, I've written a good script, now just enter competitions and wait till someone phones me. This is not a strategy for selling your script. This is just like hiding and playing small. So if you're serious about selling your script, you're going to have to learn things that most people don't want to learn. You're going to have to do things that make a lot of people feel uncomfortable. You're going to have to get good about talking about your work and talking about yourself and being confident and being seen. Because that's what's going to get you there. The idea that someone else is going to come along and make it all happen for you is a delusion. I'm all for some delusionary thinking. Spend 5 minutes with me and you know it's true, right? I'm all for it, but there's delusions and then there's delusions. And I'm not here for those kind where it's like, that's not going to happen. You have to take responsibility. Absolutely. Pulling out my big girl pants. That's it. I can do it. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do what it takes. Even if it means getting uncomfortable, even if it means doing things that I've never done before, even if it means like actually facing some of these fears, I'm going to do it. And that's the difference. That's what's going to get you there. So we will be talking a little bit about this phase this week. There will be some work on that because we can't start taking the action of putting our work out into the world until we first do that work of knowing how to sell ourselves, knowing how to pitch ourselves. Because once we know how to do that, then we're ready to go out to people. But I don't want you reaching out to people when you're still like, I just feel totally like embarrassed and I don't know what to say. We're going to fix that. This week, we're going to fix that. So you know what to say, you feel confident about saying it, and you're ready to claim your space as the badass screenwriter that you are, because that's what we're here for. And when you have that energy and how you go out into the world, you're going to get responses. Okay, you're not like hiding, and you're not playing small, and you're not being generic. You're being fully you. Okay, so that's what we're going to be unleashing this week. Catherine said, Anne Lamott says you have to be willing to write shitty first drafts. Yes, you do. You have to be willing to do everything shitty first. And just do it anyway and do the things you don't want to do. Okay, and that's what's going to get us here. So phase one is making sure that your actual script is great and you feel very confident about that. Phase two is really mastering how you pitch it, how you offer it to the world, and then also how you sell yourself, right? So how we sell the screenplay. And once we have those things, like we've got a great screenplay and we've also got the skills to actually sell it, then phase 3 becomes pretty easy. And phase 3, I just call it green light, is Operation Greenlight phase, right? This is where we get to green light. And how do we do that? We will do this by actually reaching out to people, by identifying who the right people are for your screenplay, and then reaching out to them. And then it's just like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, learn, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, learn, on repeat until you get the result that you want. Now let's be honest, actually selling your screenplay, how do we do it? It's not that difficult. We find out who buys screenplays, and in particular who buys screenplays like yours. We reach out to them, we pitch them our project and let them know that this film exists, and then we see if they want to read it. And if they want to read it, maybe they'll want to buy it afterwards, right? Like that's how it works. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. So this idea that we might already have where it's like, oh, it's overwhelming, I don't know what to do, and how do I find the people, we're going to breeze through it all this week, and during this week, you're going to start taking action. And what I want you to know is that I believe the kind of action that often really gets results is the kind of action where we just do it imperfectly, where we don't overthink. Overthinking, and you can type this up and put it over your desk if you want, but overthinking is the enemy of success. Overthinking is what will keep you stuck. It will keep you slow. It will stop you from selling your script. When we start to overthink, oh, but will they get back to me? Oh, but are they really the right person? Oh, but maybe I shouldn't because of this. And oh, but la 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 la. Overthinking is always a sign of fear. It's your subconscious trying to keep you safe. It's your subconscious hitting the brakes. What is going to be very powerful this week, and I invite you to leverage this power to the max, is the speed at which we're going to be doing things. And that's really like speed, like, you know, I don't even have a moment to overthink because I'm just doing it and I'm going for it, and that is often what will create the best results. It's when we stop to like go, but wait, is that really the right move? And maybe I should do this first, and maybe I should do that first, and maybe I should think about that, and la 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 la, and we talk ourselves out of taking the action. Who here has done that before? But I also know that every time that I create those magical results, it's where I'm not overthinking, where I feel an instinct, I have an idea, I act on it, it gets a result. And maybe it's not the result that I want, but it's a result. And it's by getting results that I move towards my goals, and this is true for all of us. Yes, procrastination, be gone. There's going to be no procrastination. Now, as I said, this is the power of what we're going to be doing this week. Because there's going to be an element of speed to it. You're not going to have time to overthink things. And I would invite you to really use that to your advantage and leverage it. Because if you can just agree now, like just show up, decide, commit to yourself, I'm going to look after my energetic state, I'm going to show up to the lives whenever I can. If I can't show up to the live, I'm going to schedule in the session for another time that day. And then I'm going to actually implement, I'm going to follow through, I'm going to do it. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels crazy, even if it feels like, what the am I doing? I'm going to do it. And by the end of this week, you're going to be celebrating. By the end of this week, you're going to be celebrating because you will have taken action, and you will have a blueprint for action moving forward that will get your script sold. That's my promise to you. Sound good? All right. So I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, but I think we've covered all the essentials. Do you have any questions at all if you're here with me live? Is there anything that you're like not clear on? And once again, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of this and for showing up with me live on this little slightly impromptu session. Yes, Steffi said yes. So, before we wrap this up, what I would love to end this with, I appreciate you, Rotu. Thank you. I need this. I went to 2024 to do this, but I've been frozen. Okay, yeah. Great start. Good. Good. Will this be live or Zoom? This will be lives here. All these sessions are here. What is phase 3? Phase 3 is green light, Catherine. So basically I go like phase 1, screenplay mastery, phase 2, is Pitchcraft Mastery, and phase 3, I call it green light. And basically that is taking actions, reaching out to people, getting them to read it, getting rejections, and getting yeses, moving through that until you get to the green light. And it really is about, taking the actions, learning, repeating over and over again until we get the result that we want. Okay? So phase 3 is the green light phase. So we will be doing a bit of phase 2 and a bit of phase 3 this week. Thank you for your time. You're so welcome. I'm so happy to do this with you. Cheryl, and I've just got to finish my screenplay. Yes, you do have to finish your screenplay. As I said, for this challenge, it really is, I'm sort of assuming that you already have a screenplay. You're welcome to attend these if you don't, sort of to get a vision of what is coming up ahead of you. Definitely, if you're I just want to learn about selling a screenplay, then come to these sessions anyway and you'll learn. But you probably won't be taking the actions that people who have finished a screenplay will be taking later in the week. It seems that having an agent is not necessary. It is not necessary. And I say that quite simply because my own experience, I didn't have an agent for the first, first 3 years that I was, 3 years that I was selling scripts and getting hired as a screenwriter. I didn't have an agent or a manager. I was completely flying solo. And it was kind of weird because I do remember at a certain point, I was making pretty decent money as a screenwriter, and I thought, well, maybe this is a good time to try to get an agent. And I just found it a bit depressing. I started reaching out to a bunch and they all turned me down or didn't even get back to me. And I just thought, oh, well, sod this. I'll just keep doing it myself. And it's funny, if you live in LA, and no writers, screenwriters, all they do, the screenwriters, is complain about their agents. Spend half a minute, either they're complaining because they don't have an agent, or they're complaining because their agent doesn't really do much for them. They have to hustle for their work anyway, and then the agent gets a cut. So it's kind of funny. I just go, no, you don't need to have an agent. When you get to a certain part of your career, of course, it's going to be something that will happen for you, and it will also be helpful for you at that point. But starting out as a screenwriter, it's not necessary. And we'll talk about, as we go on in this challenge, some instances where I would recommend prioritizing, trying to find representation. And we'll be talking about that early on in the challenge, because I want you to really get clear about what actions for you are important and what moves the needle, because I know everybody in this challenge is busy. Everybody in the world's busy, and that your time is precious, and your time that you spend devoting to moving your screenwriting career forward, it's really important that you're taking the actions that will actually make a difference, and you're not wasting time on things that won't. And for many screenwriters starting out, I think going after an agent or manager is basically a waste of time. I think your time would be better spent either working on your screenplays and getting your strength up in that area, writing more screenplays, getting the screenplays that you already have, making them better. I think that's a great use of your time in early stage screenwriting career. Another thing that's a great use of your time is actually reaching out to producers and actually trying to sell the script, actually trying to get money. Because to me, making money from your work is one of the keys, right? So that you can start to let go of that day job or the other work that you do and really focus in completely on this. And so we want to focus on actually making a sale or getting you hired as a screenwriter, as opposed to getting an agent, which actually doesn't get you money necessarily, right? So you can put all this effort into getting a manager agent and then still not making money. So we want to make the money, and then you will naturally, inevitably, at a certain point in your career, get a manager or agent. As I say, there are some exceptions. There's some people, and we will talk about it, but there's some people that would say you should focus on that, and we'll talk about why that would be. But for most screenwriters, I would say that shouldn't be your focus, and it's not the best use of your beautiful time. All right, my loves, so let's wrap this up. But before I do, I just want you to take a moment and imagine that by the end of this year, you have in fact sold your screenplay. It's the end of 2024. And maybe it's actually New Year's Eve. You can close your eyes for a moment if you want, and just really drop into this idea. It's the end of 2024. It's New Year's Eve. You're reflecting back on the year. And you're like, holy shit, I did it. I did it. And I just want you to feel right now how amazing that feels. And the excitement that you feel. And the anticipation, because you know that next year is going to be the most incredible adventure of actually seeing your movie getting made. And I want you to know that this is possible for you. Like, it doesn't matter what the past has been. Whatever has happened until this moment, it really does not matter. It does not affect or influence in any way, shape, or form the magic that you can create in the next few months. You could end this year with that result if right now you just decide that's it. That's what I'm making happen. I'm going all in. There's nothing I won't do. And again, I'm not talking about doing things out of integrity or out of alignment. But I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and really do the work it takes to make this result happen. I'm willing to get out of my comfort zone. I'm willing to take risks. I'm willing to invest my energy and my time in a way that perhaps I haven't. I'm willing to commit on a whole new level. I'm willing to decide just now that I'm going to prioritize as well, keeping my energetic state high. That I'm going to look after myself in that way. That I recognize the very close relationship between how I feel and the kind of results that I create in my life. I commit right now to making this dream my reality. And I know that I'm in the right place, and I know that I'm going to get the steps that I need, and I can drop into the trust about that. And so if you're feeling that, it's 4:44 here in Barcelona, in Spain. So if you are feeling this, just open your eyes right now and type in the chat, I'm in, I'm committed. I'm doing it. It's real. 2024, here we go, right? Like new energy, new way of doing it. Like yes, 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 yes. So drop it in the chat. Layla said, yes, true, it's a waste of energy looking for agents. Yeah. I mean, that was my experience. I'm in, let's do this. Woo! I'm in too. I'm in, I'm committed. Yes. Yes, all in. Okay, this is it. Here we go. This is where the journey starts, you know? This is where it starts right now. So I want you to get excited. There is hope. Yes, there is. All in. Yes, indeed. Want to do it by the end of 2024. That's it. I'm in. Woo! Yes. Okay, yes, we can. Yes, you can. We're going to make it happen. This week is going to be amazing. So after this call, what I would love for you to do, new energy, new way of doing things, exactly. All in journey is now. Absolutely. I just feel this energy. I just feel this wave. And I'm like, this is it. If you can maintain this energy from now till the end of the year, it's in the bag. You know, this is how it works. Your energy is everything. So I'm so grateful for you showing up to this. I'm so grateful for you for being a part of this experience. We're going to have a blast. What I'd invite you to do after this call is just open up your journal and just journal on anything that's coming through for you about this, about this journey. It's like you're starting this story now. This starts right now. What is this story going to be? What is going to happen from here till the end of the year? What do you feel nervous about? What do you feel overwhelmed by? What do you feel uncertain about? But also, what do you really want? So just open up that journal and start journaling on it. And tomorrow we'll begin the challenge. So Monday, I think it's at 6 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. my time. I don't even know. I was about to journal after. Perfect. So I will see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. So it's like 1 hour later than we did this today. 1 hour later. So if you're in LA, I think it's 8 a.m. If you're in New York, I think it's 11 a.m. If you're here in Spain, it's 5 p.m. And if you're in London or something, it's 4 p.m. If you're in Sydney, I'm sorry, it's 1 a.m. in the morning. So just to give you a clue, however you show up is good, but show up. Come and join me tomorrow and let's get this started in earnest. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you tomorrow. Let's sell your script. Bye.